Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? Let's check out this this brand new press conference that just came out with the Blair County District Attorney. Let me bring that in over here behind me, where he's going to basically update us on the whole extradition hearing, because that's what they're doing right now. The Blair County District Attorney has basically said that the charges that happen in New York take precedent over the gun charges that they have in Pennsylvania, and they are going to be working with New York to try and get him extradited as soon as possible. So let's start listening to that right now. This was just put up 3 minutes ago. It's not live. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm watching this case, trying to catch stuff as it happens. But 3 minutes ago, this was just posted by Forbes, and let's listen to it. It's not that long. It's 13 minutes, okay?
All right.
Just try to.
Yeah, I'm
waiting for me, yeah.
just taking questions, so.
By all means, don't wait for me.
Well, just a response to him challenging extradition.
Well, I mean, he was either going to waive or challenge extradition. There's a pretty clear-cut process. If he files his petition for habeas corpus, we're in the process now of securing a governor's warrant from the state of New York, and we'll be prepared when the judge schedules the hearing to do what's necessary to get him back to New York.
Sir, can you explain the timeline? Can you explain the timeline?
The judge gave 14 days for the defendant to file a petition for habeas corpus challenging the extradition, and he gave us 30 days for us to procure a governor's warrant from New York, which is the legal document necessary to effectuate the extradition.
What's the strategy for waiving your extradition? Is there one?
Well, it's simply gets the inevitable started sooner. I mean, it is, we're going to do what's necessary to get the governor's warrant, and we're working, with the New York City Police Department and Manhattan DA's office, and we're going to get the defendant up there so they can prosecute him on their charges. So waiving, accelerates that process. Contesting it, just provides more hoops for law enforcement and prosecutors to jump through, but we're happy to do that.
Were you disappointed in this process? Were you expecting this? Was this a surprise?
People contest extradition all the time, we have people who contest it on retail thefts, and we get this type of paperwork. Yes, sir.
Say he'll be in New York in 30 to 45 days?
That depends on a lot of factors, but that's a reasonable estimate to anticipate if the judge schedules a hearing within 30 days. Our understanding is that New York's going to be able to retrieve him very quickly.
If you had not waived, were you prepared to hold the Blair County charges like in abeyance, or what the legal term is?
The Blair County charges are still active. We intend on prosecuting them, but we also intend on cooperating with the New York City Police Department and the Manhattan DA's office. We've already indicated to them that we believe their charges take precedent, and we'll do what's necessary to accommodate their prosecution first. But that doesn't mean we're getting rid of our charges.
Do you expect any other charges?
In the hearing, when bail was being discussed, you brought up the same points that were brought up last night. The Faraday bags, the cash that was found, and things that it seemed like they amounted to a significant flight risk. The defense attorney today said that the court is obligated to provide bail regardless of what the flight risk is, if the case is not one that is punishable by life without parole. Your defense, or your point after that, was that besides being a flight risk, the court is allowed to deny bail in case the person is still a danger to society. Is there anything that's found that could be, pointing towards the fact that he might be?
All right, I just gotta acknowledge the chat real quick. Big shout out to Tori and everybody else is there. People saying, because last show we were saying that this guy looked like he was high, like he, kind of had a spliff before he came into the press conference. He's looking a little bit better today, but yes, this is the same guy who was zooted last time. Let's keep going. And just to update people, if you don't understand what's being said, basically Luigi has fought extradition. He's not agreeing to be extradited. So they basically have to go through the whole process of him fighting extradition and them having to basically prove that he should be sent to New York. Basically, it's going to take a month. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's going to take a month before this guy gets back to New York. I don't know if they want to expedite it. That's possible, but this guy is not going to be here tomorrow. I heard rumors of people saying he might be in New York by tomorrow. He's not going to be in New York tomorrow. He clearly is fighting extradition, and his defense attorney is saying, okay, New York is indicting him on murder, but that has nothing to do with what we got going on here. He does not have a charge that's facing life in prison, nor is the charge that he's charged with in New York a life in prison charge, because so far they only have him with second-degree murder, which means that in Pennsylvania, he's entitled to a bail amount. So his attorney is fighting for bail. That bail was denied, but he is fighting, and he's fighting extradition, okay? And guys, if he was to come to New York tomorrow, I'll take a poll with you guys if you guys want me to head on down to them courthouses down there and do a live show and stand out there and see if I could actually get into the courtroom and actually report to you guys live what's happening down there. I think I could probably swing that where I can get into the courtroom, because remember, courts are public places, etc. I might be able to get in there, sit in there, and see his arraignment. But I don't think that that's happening, guys, so let's keep going. That's not going to happen.
Targeting other people, or why argue that he was still a danger to society?
So I'm not going to comment on the ongoing investigation into this defendant, but I will say anyone charged with criminal homicide is a danger to society. I would make that argument in any case where someone was charged with a significant assault, and there is no more significant assault than homicide. What the defense attorney said is simply the judge was permitted to give bail if the judge chose to. The judge was also permitted and authorized under the Constitution to deny bail, as he chose to do, based on the factors that the judge had available. Yes, ma'am. I'm not sure. Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
expect other charges in this case?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the ongoing investigation. I know that the Altoona Police Department has and will continue to diligently investigate it. I was privileged to be able to work, first Assistant Smith and I, with the Manhattan prosecutors and the New York City Police Department, the Pennsylvania State Police, and all the other law enforcement entities. So they're all very aggressively and diligently investigating this, but I'm not going to speculate on what might come in the future.
In terms of the timeline, what are you expecting the defense to do in the next 14 days? What is the argument they're supposed to present?
Well, they have 14 days to file a petition for habeas corpus, and that would simply be a document challenging the Commonwealth's ability to prove that the defendant is the person that the state of New York has issued the arrest warrant for.
But that has nothing to do with the ability to go, be able to go out on bail.
Thank you, bye.
To be free on bail in the meantime. So for now, I mean, how much long is the bail denied all the way until trial?
Well, this defendant now has two dockets in Blair County. One docket will go away once he is extradited, and that is his fugitive from justice charge. And the judge denied bail on that until, obviously, the judge makes a ruling on any defense motions, at which time we anticipate the state of New York will be able to collect the defendant. The other local charges, the encounter between the Altoona Police Department and the defendant has been denied bail on that case as well, which the Pennsylvania Constitution provides for when the judge finds it appropriate under the circumstances.
So your main goal right now is to have...
All right, so you guys see it freezing. That's not me. It's not my connection. It's Forbes. I want to answer two questions. You guys have any questions? Just put it in the chat. Put at Strategic Eyes or True Crime with Strategic, however it works. And I'll try to answer it to the best of my abilities based off of my knowledge and my experience. The first question is, how come it's not first degree? I believe that they probably charged him at murder in the second degree as a placeholder. And in New York, when you have like felonies such as this felony, in fact, all felonies really, especially with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, their practice is to bring the case before a grand jury. So I think that they're charging him with murder in the second degree as a placeholder, and then they will bring the case to a grand jury where they'll make the argument to a grand jury for murder in the first degree, because this is definitely was premeditated with a dangerous weapon, or deadly weapon rather. So I think that's what the case is, just the technical stuff. I don't think that he's just going to get off and not get charged with murder in the first degree. That's just kind of how Manhattan kind of works when it comes to charging violent felonies. And somebody else says that something seems off. I think that's Angel A. Pavlos Corndog, interesting name. just you know, if there's anything, maybe you're just saying that in general, but I'm only picking that comment to say, if you guys have any questions, because this is not going to be a long live. I got to get my daughter from basketball practice. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask it, because guess what? If you're new here, I'm a detective, so I could try at least and answer those questions for you. Of course, there's some questions only an attorney can answer, but if I know it, I'll give you the answer to the best of my ability. So don't be afraid to ask questions in the chat, guys. Let's keep going.
Them extradited to New York, that's what you're working towards?
Our primary focus is to cooperate with the New York City Police Department and Manhattan District Attorney's Office, so this defendant can be prosecuted for his New York homicide charge. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Can you comment on the way he's right now detained in jail? Like, is he staying by himself? What is the type of security he has around?
I defer to the Department of Corrections or whatever institution someone's housed in. I cannot comment on his specific circumstances. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry if this was already asked, I kind of missed the top, but at what stage are you at in securing a governor's warrant? And how long do you expect extradition to take once it's secured?
So we've begun that process. I will say the judge afforded the defense 14 days to file their petition. So any hearing the judge schedules on that petition would have to be after that deadline has run. So we'll be ready anytime after that period. He gave us 30 days. I anticipate we should be able to get that sooner than 30 days.
Were you surprised that he got the defense attorney as of last night? He had no attorney. He was figuring out whether he wanted somebody to be hired or to use public defender. What was that process in terms of how it affects you?
It doesn't affect us at all. It's very I mean, people secure attorneys all the time, even when they're arrested at 2 o'clock in the morning. So this is just a very normal procedure in criminal prosecution.
A very quick question. Who are the people in the jury box?
I believe there were courthouse employees from other departments who were interested in the proceeding.
Is it normal for charges presented against somebody who's been...
Basically, people was being nosy. They don't really get this kind of action out there in Altoona, so everybody wants to be a part of history, I guess. All right, let me answer 2 quick questions, because, you know, we've done these press conferences before. A lot of you guys are professional true crimers like me. These reporters ask really dumb questions. So we'll get back to them, and the press conference is almost over, but let me just answer some questions for you guys real quick. Lucky said, what are your thoughts that he was going to continue his vigilante with someone else, as Altoona has the 2nd largest healthcare? He kept all the stuff, and he didn't give them his real ID. I think it's possible. It's definitely possible that he could have had additional targets that he wanted to go after. You know, you got to ask the question, why choose Brian Thompson? What was so special about Brian Thompson that he basically stalked the guy, figured out where the guy was going to be, figured out the guy's routine? Because I don't believe that that was the first time that he saw him. This young man was in New York City for 10 days prior to the actual assassination. I think he has observed the movements of this man for multiple days before he decided on when would be the best time to take action. So it is possible that he could have wanted to do that to somebody else. Only his manifesto in its entirety, which we haven't gotten yet, will say so, and also his social media and his computer background. You better believe that his computer has been seized and is currently being dumped, as well as his burner phone, all his electronics, all being dumped, all his phone records for the records he had before he started going off the grid. Everything is being dumped. They'll definitely figure that out. They'll also dump his iCloud, his Google, whatever he's got. They're going to dump that bad boy, trying to figure out what his motive is. Good question, though. Very, very, very good question. I saw something else. What was the other question that I saw? Somebody said, what was his motive? I have no idea, but it looks like actually they talked about it. He has gripes with corporate America and with the healthcare system. Apparently he had a bad back injury, required surgery, and he had some issues with pain management, and that resulted in him having definitely bad blood with the American healthcare industry. Any other questions before we go back to the conference? All right, that's what we got so far. Don't worry, I'll come back, guys. Just keep it coming if you have any questions for me.
Charged with murder here in Pennsylvania to have 6 police officers surrounding them, or is he treated like a higher risk by the sheriff's office?
I can't speak to how the sheriff and his deputies assess risks for inmates. I will say that, you know, we've certainly prosecuted a number of homicide cases here in Blair County where there's been that level of security or more, so that was not surprising to see.
So will his Blair County case stay on hold pending? Because he's got that preliminary hearing scheduled on December 23rd.
That's our intention, and with the way that's scheduled in light of the judge's 14-day period for the defense to file motions, I anticipate we would likely be able to achieve that preliminary hearing at least before.
I don't know. It looks like we might have the manifesto, ladies and gentlemen. We might have the manifesto. I think somebody may have posted the manifesto. I don't know.
We have the extradition hearing.
So
So you'll go forward with it then?
Yeah, we don't intend on getting rid of the charges. We acknowledge that the New York City Police Department and Manhattan District Attorney's Office charges should take precedence. They're more serious. We intend to cooperate with them to the best of our ability to facilitate their prosecution of this defendant first, but we don't intend to withdraw our charges.
is there anything expected between now and that 23rd or the 2 weeks, or is there anything else that is left to be done?
Well, the various agencies will continue their investigations, and we'll certainly be working on securing the governor's warrant, so it'll be a lot of phone calls and paperwork.
Excuse me, you can just face that. I don't know if this was asked before, but it was hard not to notice his demeanor a little bit. He was smiling, chuckling. Last night he was a little outspoken and animated during the proceedings. Today he also spoke out of turn. Is that surprising to see as a DA for a case this significant?
No, I'm not going to comment on a defendant's demeanor. That's something personal to them, and it's their prerogative to act how they act in court.
I just want to be clear a bit about the time. So then, essentially, since these things are happening in parallel, the original Blair County case keeps going at its normal pace up until he's extradited, and then it'll just get paused at that point, right? And then restarted whenever the New York case is over?
Our intention is to just place a detainer on him once we secure extradition and send him to New York. We do not intend to delay this defendant's extradition to New York, and we certainly, and we've indicated this to New York, their prosecution should take precedence, and then ours will follow.
Can you explain in layman's terms exactly what the process looks like to obtain a governor's warrant?
So certainly our office will communicate with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
So I'm trying to get the manifesto. I saw one person has it, but they have it behind a paywall. I'm going to keep looking, guys, to see if we get that manifesto before we get out of here.
And each of us communicate with our respective state level governments, and it's the state level governments that work with each other, execute the governor's warrant, which sometimes can take approximately 30 days plus or minus a little bit. I will say that those wheels have already started moving in this case, so I'm hopeful we can get that accomplished quickly.
So what is your timeline, best case scenario?
Well, I'm hopeful we can accomplish it quicker than normal, but I'm not going to speak for the state of Pennsylvania or the state of New York in terms of how fast they turn that around, but I can say that both our office and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office are already in the process of working on that.
And have you spoken with Governor Shapiro yet?
I spoke with him last night.
Anything that you can share about what that conversation was like?
I'm not going to speak, just small talk.
Have you been contacted by any other counties in Pennsylvania where there are investigations going on into his activities?
We've not talked to any other counties in Pennsylvania.
Would you say it's fair to say that the extradition will likely not happen this year?
Big shout out to Mary Wysong, who's now a patrol member of Strategic Guys membership. So I'm trying to find the manifesto. If anybody has it, please send it to me so we can bring awareness to this and bring it to the masses. Please also hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button. If I don't remind people, they don't do it. So please do hit that like button. I saw one place that had it, but purportedly they were selling it, and I'm not interested in that, and I can't verify it, so I don't want to spend money on something that's unverified. I did find a article that has a lot of quotes from it, so I will definitely read that article for you guys before we get out of here. One person in the chat, the chat allegedly said that they saw it. Let me scroll up here. think it's Elizabeth says, I saw Elizabeth Betty says, saw the manifesto, has a point, but do not approve of his actions. I mean, I don't know how Elizabeth was able to get her hands on that manifesto, but I would like to get my hands on it. I just want to read it for myself. I don't need to break news or anything. I just want to read it for myself and see where this guy was coming from. So let's keep going, and then we'll transition into this article. And before we go to the article, I want to play for you guys the video of Luigi going into his extradition hearing, where he is screaming out at reporters, purportedly to give a message to the rest of us, saying that something to the effect of that they're I don't know. I don't even want to quote it. Something to the effect of, he's disrespecting the American people's intelligence or something like that. We'll get the quote right, but I want to play that for you, and then we'll go to the article where they give tons of quotes on the manifesto, but not the manifesto in its entirety. I heard it's out there, but I don't have it. Let's keep going.
Year, or do you think it could possibly?
I'm not going to comment on that because it's the judge who's going to schedule the hearing, and we'll be ready for the hearing when the judge schedules it.
Actually, this rang a bell. Amanda GC actually said a quote, and I trust this quote because my memory is very, very, very good when somebody jogs it. And I succinctly remember him saying what she's quoting here. So she says that he says it's completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and their lived experience, Mangione shouted after stepping out of the police car. I remember him saying that. So I think that's an accurate quote, guys. So that's what he said. Let's keep going.
Also, do you have a response to threats that were made towards the Altoona Police Department and all that throughout this process over the last 24 hours?
We certainly take threats towards anyone very seriously. Certainly, everyone has to do their job. I think the governor in his remarks addressed that very well last night. But even if we disagree with people, violence or threats are not the answer, and certainly, threatening, the police or anyone just carrying out the duties of their job is not acceptable.
Are you aware of the McDonald's employees receiving threats because they called the police?
I'm aware of allegations that we're investigating.
And just also a follow-up, there's been threats towards the McDonald's and employees, and I'm sure you know of that. Do you have any response there?
I'm not going to comment on pending investigations.
The reference in the hearing to something that happened in chambers, was that entirely about the defense attorney wanting private time to talk to the defendant, or was it, am I understanding that correctly? Or
Yes.
more than that?
No, it was a request by the defense attorney for there to be time for him to speak with his client, which is certainly not.
All right, Amanda's GC says that I'm reading the manifesto now. Why you not emailing it to me? See, you guys are teasers. Oh my God, so naughty. Why y'all teasing strategic like that? Send me the manifesto. I got to get out of here to go get my daughter from basketball. Let me play this real quick for you guys. I wanted to play for you guys this video of this guy coming in. So let's do that, and then let's read the quick clip. Okay, boom. Let's do it. Boom, boom, boom. Blair County.
And completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
All right, that's that right there. Somebody said they emailed me the password. Thank you so much. All right, and let me get to this article. I'm sorry I'm rushing. I don't like rushing with you people. You guys deserve better than that, but my daughter, I got to get her. She's playing b-ball. Wow, I'm so proud of her, man. She made the basketball team. That's pretty awesome to me, man. I really like it. So I'll read you guys a quick few quotes, and then I'll check out the emails that folks have sent me. And let me see if I got it right now. Yep. I see that email right there. Thank you so much, Miss M, for sending me that email with the link. So I'll get it, and then we'll come back on after I get my daughter and my son. Actually, by the time I get her, I got to go get my son from aftercare. So after I bring all the kids home, we'll come back live again, and we'll actually go through this manifesto together. But let me give you guys some quick quotes real quick. Luigi Mangione had a handwritten note that said, "These parasites had it." Let me see if I got it. Had it coming when he was nabbed in Pennsylvania by police who recognized him as a suspect wanting to kill United Healthcare CEO. Let's go down. I'm going to just kind of skip a little bit because I'm running out of time. He said, "I'm not working with anyone. He says, I do apologize for any strife or trauma, but it had to be done. He says, frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. Let's skip down a little bit. He says, a written admission about the crime. Let's see here. Anything else? He says, to the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. Mangione wrote on his note, to save your lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. All right. Okay, I think that's a good teaser for now because as soon as I get it, I will be reading it out with you guys. I want to say this one last thing before I get up out of here. First of all, big shout out to CR with 1 gift membership. I'm a Law and Order guy, and I don't like bad guys, all right? And so I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I've been in law enforcement most of my adult life. Since I was 21 years old, I was in some type of law enforcement. I've had a badge since I was 21 years old. I'm now 40 years old. You do the math. Since I was 21 years old, I had a badge. And I'm 40 years old, and I still have a badge, and I just got a little less than 2 years to go until I'm able to hang it up and ride off into the sunset of retirement if that's what I choose. It kind of makes me biased a little bit at times, and the reason why I'm saying that is I'm not making excuses. I still don't agree with people who want to make excuses for this guy. But I'm starting to acknowledge and feel the pain that some of you guys feel. The anger, the distrust, the betrayal that people feel when they need help. They need help, and help is right within their reach. The help is there. The technology is there. The pill is there. The know-how is there. The knowledge to fix what's wrong with you is there, but there's a barrier, and that barrier is money. And then somebody tells you, you pay into a system as much as you work all your life, whatever, and then you say, hey, listen, it's time for me to get that payback that I put into the system, and somebody tells you no. It's going to cause a lot of confusion. It's going to cause people to be upset. I will never condone supporting a murderer. That's my stance. That's my morality. But I think I understand even though I don't agree with it, I understand why people are upset. And in my previous live, I called people, I don't even know the words. I'd be throwing stuff just come off the top of my head. I called one person despicable. I think I said low thought energy. I don't know what I said. I said some insults to people who were saying free this guy. I said some insults to them. And listen, this is like 2 people, so it's not like my whole channel is going upside down and here's my Maya Culpa. No. This is 2 people. Who cares? But it matters to me because I'm starting to understand that I don't know where those 2 people came from. I don't know those 2 people. I don't know what trauma they've been through. I don't know what loved ones they've lost due to the medical industry. I don't know what pain they're currently going through. I don't know if they have 5 days to live, 6 months to live because they can't get a treatment because the medical industry doesn't want to pay for it. I don't know. So I don't think I should have said that, and I apologize for that. Once again, I do not and will never support a murderer. This guy's a murderer. He needs to go to jail. But this is a complicated topic, and people are hurting. And I think this is a good time for us to start a conversation that we haven't had in a long time in this country, and that's a conversation about healthcare. Fairness, morality, and righteousness. I'm not the one to have that conversation. I've already had one person tell me, oh, this is political crap. I'm out of here, strategic. And I didn't even know I was talking about politics. We're talking about a guy who killed the guy for political reasons. Like, this is true crime. How else are we supposed to have this conversation unless we talk about the political motives that he killed him? And then I had another person who said, oh, man, you sound like the Inquirer lately and Fox News. I'm like, oh, shoot, man. Damn, this is a tough crowd. Listen, I'm a human being, and I'm just trying to navigate these tragedies just like the rest of you guys. Am I always going to get it right? No, of course not. But at least I'm trying to navigate it in good faith. And I hope you guys are sophisticated enough, I know you are, and intelligent enough, and I know you are that too, to understand when somebody's trying to come at you with good intentions and good faith, and when people are trying to manipulate you like some of these actors in the mainstream media. It is what it is. It's your life. You live it how you want to. You believe what you want. But I just wanted to say that I I feel the pain in the room. I acknowledge it, and I understand. I see you guys in the next one. I gotta get the kids. I'm gonna see if we could get that that manifesto. We'll be on a little bit later, guys. Peace out.